All right. So now we're going to start getting into one of my touchier topics of the night, I'm going to say, but yeah, we went into the discussion about the expansion of mobile, mobile gaming, mobile accessibility, mobile variety, and now 5G is coming. There's going to be more availability. Do you there was a Wired had an article come out recently about children streaming on Twitch and the issues that are being found with even currently at the level of the age of 13, which is the minimum age requirement. Is that problematic? And is Twitch taking enough of a active role in monitoring that, measuring that to make sure they're accountable for it, or tracking the content that is fed into underage streamers, right? This is kind of like a very loaded, it's a loaded topic because I don't think anybody's going to agree that approaching an underage streamer is a good thing, right? Or but like how do there's been no discussions from Twitch on this that I've heard, right? We've talked about bullying, we've talked about the female streamers, we've talked about a lot of other things, but there's been nothing mentioned recently about the young content creator. And I'm really curious on like what I say. I'm really curious a lot, don't I?
Curiosity is the best thing you can have.
Yeah,
in life.
but like I'm interested to hear your guys' perspectives on like thoughts on. I'm interested to hear you guys' perspectives on the current levels that are set for underage viewers and content creators, and if you think Twitch is taking an active enough role to monitor or manage that.
Nathan, you or I? Who wants to start on this one?
Mine was short.
Roll for it. Random number generator? I don't have one ready. I'll start because I'm not going to talk for too long on it. But my feelings are pretty straightforward. I think 13 is too young. I think it's too young to be a streamer. I don't necessarily think it's too young to be a viewer. Obviously, we have the mature content setting. The unfortunate thing is it's way too easy to bypass that. I know personally I have plenty of people who come watch my stream who aren't over the age of 18 because all you have to do is, click yes. Like it's not, there's really no age verification. There's no nothing really preventing anybody from watching anything despite having mature content set, yes or no online. As far as it doesn't seem like Twitch, I'm not going to say that they don't care. I don't read or see anything about it. Once in a while I'll see an article that's just a horrible thing about some underage streamer. There was one, I think he put a cat in a microwave, some crazy thing like that. There was one who some kid like snorted some flour because of people online telling him to do stuff. The problem is they're just very influential at that age. So it's very easy if you get a chat full of people chanting to do something, that kid just, he doesn't necessarily, they don't know better. I think if you're that age, you should have an adult present with you while streaming. I think that needs to be a requirement. I know some people don't necessarily agree with that, but it's just, the internet is full of way too many, yes, there's some good people, but there's also there's people out there that just like to create chaos, it seems, and they can do it any way, shape, or form they seem fit, and it's very easy behind a screen name, tell a young kid to do something that's horrible that nobody wants to see, but he's going to see 20 people tell him to do it, and they're going to want to do it to appease the crowd. So it's pretty straightforward. It's too young in my mind. I'd like to see Twitch do something about it.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting if part of just simply going live actually included something similar to the affiliate agreement, which you would not be able to sign if you're underage. You would have to have parental involvement, somebody who is an adult. Having that, I mean, it wouldn't be a perfect gate by any stretch of the imagination. You can still lie. You can still, do other things to try to get past it and not, potentially not have your parents involved. But I think that should be a thing to just to go live at all. If you're 13 years old, your parents should know you're going live on Twitch, or your guardian, whoever, like whoever's the adult responsible for you, should know that you are now in some way, shape, or form, broadcasting to the internet live. Because it's obviously, as Hopper, you were just saying, you've got kids at that age are very impressionable, and so, man, I don't know. I think it's worse than the chat rooms, because people, kids, especially kids at that age, some of them, their heroes are these major streamers. Their heroes are Ninja. Their hero is Shroud. And so they see that and they want to be like that. And it's exactly it, is that they see, they hop online, they're live for however long, and let's say they get a day where suddenly they've got 5 viewers, and they've been streaming to 0 for a while. So 5 viewers is super exciting. You want to keep those viewers. But exactly what you were saying, the viewers are like, well, why don't you go throw that cat out a window, dude? Because I want to see that. The kids could easily look at that and go, okay, as long as you'll keep viewing my stream, whatever it takes. I want to be Ninja. I want to be Tim the Tap Man. I want to be Shroud. I want to be, Nick Merckx. So I've got viewers. I got to do what the viewers want. It's a scary spot. So I think that it's just simply, before you can go live, there should be an age check of some kind. And potentially it should be even more intense. That I don't think for the affiliate agreement you even have to send in an ID or anything like that, right? You fill out some paperwork, you sign a digital document, and yeah, it. Even that, I think, is not as intense as it maybe should be. But yeah, the potential for what are happening to some of these kids, the fact that they are as impressionable as they are, I think that should just be a simply requirement. And again, as Hop was saying, I can't say that I've seen anything about what Twitch is doing in that world. I haven't gone looking for it either. So maybe they're doing something, and I'm not looking for, I'm not Googling on a regular basis, what is Twitch doing about, minor streamers. It doesn't directly involve me. I don't have kids. I'm not worried about, I'm not worried about it in my, case, but, yeah, I would agree that I think they could be doing more, just to, from a safety standpoint.
So yeah, having kids, it makes it a totally weird topic for me to discuss, having both my son and daughter both being very impressionable individuals. And, it's, we're going through the age right now where we're discussing, hey, body parts are a real thing. Hey, you guys are brother and sister, but you can't go to the bathroom when she goes to the shower, etc. Because they're young, right? They're young, but we're getting to that age, right? And it's just interesting that it turns into this. And I personally, I think 13 is way too young to stream, period. I think if you want to create content for YouTube, maybe, yeah, right? Because it's not live fed, right? Because it's not live fed. And that's exactly what Nathan's saying. Kid hears, hey, throw the cat out the window. It's going to land on its feet. He's like, oh, it's going to land on its feet. I don't care, right? Right? My son would probably do that. We only live on a one-story building, so my cat would be okay. But it's one of those weird, I think it's way too young. Having kids myself and thinking about it in that way, I'm like, there's no way I would put my son in front of people and let them troll him for 4 hours, right? And leave him unattended, because I know people are going to say, the trolls are going to show up once they learn that it's happening, right? Once it's available, once they learn that it's available, the trolls come in troves, right? And you have to have some way. You have to have some way to stop that. And I think it starts with what Hopper said. I think it starts with, there should be an age gate, right? If you create an account and you put in your birth date, when you create the account, that account should stick, and you should not be able to go into a mature stream if you're under 18. Done, right? that should be a thing, in my opinion, right? Now, if you want to get shifty and you want to create an alternate account and make the birth date 1921 or whatever and make yourself 100 years old, great, good for you, right? Do your thing. Then you can go be that 99-year-old grandpa watching Hopper play Rocket League. Good for you,
Yeah.
right?
Love you,
But
George.
and I think there should be a way. I think there should be a way for the streamer to recognize the age of the viewer. Even if it's just a year, right? Like I don't need birth date, I don't need any of that kind of stuff. But or if like there's a marker in there to say like if you have a tag, I don't know, because you don't want to get bullied. You get into some weird context in there, but like you don't want the underage people to get bullied versus the older, blah blah blah, the viewer context. But there should be a way for a moderator or somebody to say, is this person underage? Like, like you go to a club, right? The underage people get a black X on their hand, right? They're not allowed to drink, right? That kind of concept. It's just a way to let the viewers and the streamer know, hey, don't mess with this person because they're impressionable, right? And then, that's just from a viewer perspective. From a live perspective, again, I think it should be 16, 16 maybe. Even 16, I want to say could be too young, right? Because even then, you're probably just as impressionable as you are at 13, right? Like, I mean, like, there's really no. Even at 18, they still make those dumb decisions, but at that point, they got to make the dumb decisions on their own, right? I mean, we probably all made them, right? And we probably all learned from. Hopefully, we all learned from them. But at some point, right, you just do it, and you got to go, right? But
I mean, I'm in my 30s and I'm still young and dumb, so.
Stupid decisions daily.
Yeah, and anytime you're tying a financial value to this, like if you're talking about you have like the affiliate contract, right? The affiliate contract, you should have to be able to sign that for yourself. Like there shouldn't be a minor waiver agreement, right? We're not talking about something that's like pro sports. That's a whole nother level, right? Because you have a team, you have a coach, you have a management staff, you have everything that's monitoring you, right? On that field, so you can have a minor in that environment. I get. Right? But when it comes to streaming, right, you are an independent contractor. There's no reason for a 15-year-old, 14-year-old to be an independent contractor, in that type of environment. If you're a pro player, do your pro playing and then do your YouTube content for your pro playing content, right? And then when you turn 18 or 16 or whatever we set it to be, right, go do it, right? But I personally think that there should be, I mean, I'm very active in the kids, right? I don't let them to their own devices. Right? They don't have tablets. They have, kids' Kindles, right? They don't even have browser access, right? They don't have cell phones. They don't have, it's very, very monitored content for them, because I know if I had the accessibility that they have when I was their age, I would be in a lot more trouble, right? And I mean, I know what I did when I got dial up. I know the kind of trouble that I got in with that. So, right? Getting the fact that, coming to the fact that they have way more accessibility than I did then at their age, it scares the death out of me.
Yeah, those same things will download a lot quicker on broadband than dial-up.
If I had a smartphone when I was 12, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. That would have been
I don't even want to know.
Oh.
I don't even want to.
That would have been something else. So, I guess as a counterpoint, though, one of the streamers, so somebody that I actually rated, and I think who made affiliate right afterwards, or pretty soon afterwards, is 14. And I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea of having young streamers. I just think that the parents, there has to be more of a way to force adult involvement. Because there are cases where some of the appeal, especially when you look outside of gaming, but sometimes in gaming too, some of the appeal in some cases with, arguably, I guess you would say child creators, is that if you've got a 13-year-old that is an absolute master at rocking out on the guitar, that is something that people will enjoy seeing, and that is potentially very good quality content. And it's something that people will enjoy, having an opportunity to see and witness. And to say that same, high-performing child, that same kid, shouldn't be able to do that in a live setting, I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but their parent should be a massive part of it. So, I don't know. I think I'm not opposed to the idea of having young creators. I think they have a opportunity to get comfortable, in the live performance space and in the live streaming space by doing it at a younger age. Something that, none of us had that opportunity. Live streaming wasn't a thing when I was 13 years old. It was not something that I had the opportunity to do. If I was 13 today with Twitch being what it was, I don't know if my parents would have let me or not. And you could probably make the argument that some parents would allow it and then not actually be involved and not care. I don't know. I guess I kind of default to the side of let people enjoy things, let people have a good time, let people do what they're going to do. And I'm not necessarily always on the side of that every platform and the government and everybody else is always responsible for protecting everyone. At a certain point, you can't be everybody's parent. Twitch as a platform can't guarantee that the data they're given is accurate anyway. So somebody could say they're 100 years old and be 12 and start streaming. And so, what do you do there? They steal dad's driver's license out of dad's wallet to upload to Twitch, because Twitch now forces, this is not a real thing, but let's say in the case where Twitch starts forcing you to scan an ID in to verify your age, well, they just go steal dad's driver's license out and then upload it to Twitch and then shove it back in his wallet. Dad has no idea. So at a certain point, I don't think today it's entirely possible for Twitch to actually prevent it. So going out of your way to just, try to make it a rule, I don't even know that it's worth the effort. I think creating the framework for which the kids can be a creator at that age with parental involvement, I think would, personally, I think would be a better path. This particular streamer that I play games with still, again, he's 14 years old. And do I think that he's going to have a rough time if people start spamming his chat with some really, really inappropriate stuff? Probably. But I also know that his parents are involved in his streaming because, they recently, for this particular individual, they bought him a new computer specifically to help enhance his ability to stream and play games on stream. So his parents are definitely involved at some level. So would I take that away from this particular person? No, I don't think just because they're not 18, I would take that away from them.
Yeah, maybe it's more about just a different environment. Like maybe something with, certain age chats not enabled on said stream. So then they can kind of avoid the toxicity that exists on the internet, or I don't know, I'm just spitballing different ideas because you're not right necessarily. Sometimes it's silly to just draw a big line that just says, no, you can't do this until this point.
Maybe part of it is that, if you have a channel and you had to go through the parental approval process because you are underage, maybe certain auto mod settings you can't turn off. Maybe you're unable to turn on the mature flag. Maybe there's some things that Twitch does that are currently available to streams that they either take away or change. But I don't know. Again, at least for me, I would be disappointed if I had to. Let's say Twitch made a policy change tomorrow. You have to be 18. I would be disappointed to lose this person that I currently play games with, whose stream I stop by occasionally. They're on the other side of the world, so not consistently. But, losing that would be lame to me.
Yeah, any decision made, you'd have to assume that there'd be some grandfathered in concept for certain creators or whatever. But maybe you're right, Nathan. Maybe that is a big portion of it. And Hopper, you guys are kind of alluding to maybe it's just a better control system for minors, a better opportunity to manage, a better opportunity to manage the way it's set up for minors. Either it be, mod controls or a forced moderator in chat, or maybe Twitch staff pays attention to those chats more. Maybe there's some kind of AI tool that they use to, do post stream analysis. the more concern I have about that type of situation is not so much the dumb stuff they'll do, but the impressions that they'll have for like, hey, follow me on Snapchat, or like it's where you start getting the weird people come in, right, for the very, very young impressionable individuals, right? And that's where it gets kind of even into a whole nother scary subject. And we're kind of we're assuming that everybody here is at least being a fun troll, not a bad one, right? But you kind of get into situations like that where it just kind of you need to have some method of policing that. Otherwise, even at the legal ages of 13, 14, 15, whatever, right? Even if you're not trying to be a 9-year-old signing up to stream, right? And you're doing it properly, you're waiting till your time. You still have the opportunity to get snuck or not snuck in, but you're still having the opportunity for people to try to make you do things that may not necessarily be good for a minor. Right. And that's what scares me. And I just think it's not something that I've ever heard be discussed by Twitch, right? It's never been a topic of discussion. It's never been a point of perception. And maybe that's a good thing. You mentioned in the beginning, Nathan, maybe that's a good thing because we haven't needed to, right? Because it's not an issue. But, is it just a hidden issue, right? This whole issue with these esports teams was just an unknown issue until it finally came to light, right? Is this another scenario where it's the same type of thing? Which I hope it's not, but.
Yeah, that's a really dark and less fun topic. But yeah, is it possibly happening already? It could be. It really could be. And it's a scary thing. And again, I think that goes back to the idea that I think the potential of allowing minors to stream should force the parental involvement at some level, because a parent is more likely to see that message and go, hey, no, you're not adding that. You're not creating and adding people on Snapchat that are your viewers. You're not going to do that at 13 years old. But like, how would Twitch control that? There's no way. There's just no way. Like some of the streams that I've been involved with in the last couple months, outside of just younger folks, just other streams at all. There's been a couple of them where I, as a viewer, pop in, say hi, say something about playing the game together, and they're like, "Oh yeah, totally. Here's the Discord." And some of the newer streamers don't realize the potential very negative impacts of inviting somebody you don't know into your Discord that's going to be playing their audio over your stream. And so there's even an immediate and somebody younger who sees that, especially sees that in a bigger stream or a stream that they know. Like let's use what was it, Dr. Lupo and Ninja were playing together, right? So some younger kid that is a huge Ninja fan sees those two playing together and is like, oh, okay, so it's normal that you're on voice with other people when you play together. Okay, cool. All right, I'll do that. That's not Snapchat, but that's yet another avenue where that person suddenly has a very like direct impact on this person, on the younger one, on the child. And that's a whole new avenue of communication that is outside of Twitch. That is something that Twitch would have no way to see, no way to know what's going on there. And so even in the case of, like, say, enforced automod, you cannot use the word Snapchat in chat on a stream where the streamer is under the age of 18. But now they're on Discord. Well, now Discord is where you feed that information. Or maybe it's Instagram. Maybe the streamer has an Instagram, and so you follow them on Instagram. Then you send a message there. Like, at the end of the day, I think the solution is trying to force the parents to be involved, because Twitch would most like, I mean, for almost all of us, I think for nearly everyone, Twitch is the feeding platform, and then all the other social media kind of hangs off of that. Forcing some way, as much as you can, the parents to be involved on the Twitch side can help bring that protection of the minor across the other ones, because they will be involved. But at the end of the day, like what can you really do? I don't think Twitch can stop underage streamers from having Instagrams. They're not going to stop them from having Discords. They're not going to have them, they're not going to stop them from having other social media. And so no matter what you do on Twitch to try to protect that person, ultimately there's going to be other paths to them. So, yeah, I mean, at the same time, like, how can you? I don't know. I don't think we can ever hold Twitch ultimately responsible, beyond expecting maybe they have, a little bit more controls than they maybe have today. But
At the end of the day, all these platforms can't hold them liable for everything. It's
exactly.
simple messaging. Yeah, it's great to connect with people. Yes, can it be used in a horrible way? Of course it can. Is it necessarily that app's fault? No. It's just, yeah, I agree. It's at the end of the day, we got to have parents just more active in what their kids are doing. Like you, it sounds like you're doing an excellent job, regulating and keeping track of. And we just need more parents to be like that rather than, here's a computer. It costs us $2,000 and it can stream and play all the coolest games. Do we know what streaming is or if you're actually doing it? Nope. But here you go. Put it in your room. Do whatever you want for 8 hours a day, and we'll make you dinner. Like,
Well, let me clarify. Jamie's doing a really, really good job parenting.
yeah. Gotcha.
I mean, not that I don't put in my effort, but she is very, very good. She is very, very again. She is very, very good at being mom. I can give her tons of credit on that. So, okay. Well, we're gonna roll into. We don't want to get stuck on. No, it's just something something that came up, and it was a big thing that, like, as soon as I saw that topic, I was like, ugh, right? Like, it's one of those that I do think that something needs to be done to some extent, but you're both right. I think parents need to be involved, and it might be a vision concept from a cultural perspective as we continue to grow, but we'll get there one day. So rolling into the next thing, we got 2 topics left here tonight, and the first one that I'm going to touch on is kind of a content style discussion. And it leads into, and I think both of you are actually great fits for this, honestly, because of the fact that it leads into the idea of variety streaming versus SME streaming. And for those that are listening in, SME streaming, I'm using an industry term for subject matter expert, meaning that you focus on a single content type or single game and you become an expert in that game, and you focus entirely on when people come to your chat and ask questions, you know all the answers and things like that. So that way people come to your game to become knowledgeable. So you have a variety streamer who just plays a bunch of games for fun, has a community, grows, does other things like that. And then you have an SME that is a subject matter expert that continues to help those that are very interested in a specific game continue to grow and get better, right? And I believe that both of you are different in that perspective. Not that either one's right, but I want to know, like, why you guys chose those paths for streaming, and what you think that's doing for your growth, or how that's having an effect on your growth.
Yeah, I'll start being the variety guy in the group here. First off, thank you very much for explaining what SME is, because now I don't have to ask and come across like an idiot. It's like, what the heck is this acronym he's making up right now? Single main event is my first guess that went through my head. No, honestly, the reason, and again, variety streaming, just again, it's not, you don't have one main game. You come on and play a variety of different things. Obviously, variety streamers, people. For me, it's pretty simple. Number one, I can't just sit and play the same game like 6 hours a night, 4 days in a row. I would get bored. The excitement wouldn't be there. Day 4 would be nowhere near as exciting as day 1 as far as the content goes. Because sometimes the beauty of a game, it's playing it for one day, grinding it out, having a blast, and then coming back to it a week later and you remember how much fun it was. Sometimes it loses that luster for me when I play it over and over and over and over and over. And don't get me wrong, there are some games where you can do that grind, which I'm looking for. Still looking for a game where I can really sink my teeth into it. So there may be an SME future for Hopper down the road. Who knows? But I think it's also just the world we live in with how many games there are out there. I just like to try a lot of different stuff and share that experience with other people out there. And yeah, you open yourself up to different crowds of people. You know, you'll have the ones that come to watch this game, the ones that come to watch that game, and hopefully, as a variety streamer, what you're looking for is that you get to a point where the people enjoy you more so necessarily than the game you're playing. You're obviously not the best in the world at 6 different games that you play 6 different nights a week. You know, we're not all Shroud and can pick up any shooter and just be a god. But then you do lose too. You lose the ones who don't want to wait each week, come back and watch it for one night. So I wouldn't say, I'd say as a variety streamer, it's a slower growth pattern than if you do have a main game that you grind day in, day out. But for me, it keeps me sane, keeps the streaming just more fun, you know, and it lets me try a lot more things. I like trying. So that's why I do it.